The underlying problems facing Britain may only get worse. I want to talk more about that with Lola Adeshoye. She's a social commentator and activist and joins me from CNN New York. Obviously, a lot of questions are being asked about what's happening in the UK right now. Is this something we could have seen coming?
Oh, definitely. I'm not surprised. I don't condone the violence, but I'm not surprised. I think this is just a melting pot of a lot of issues that have been happening over time that haven't been adequately addressed.
Now, we had a lad there talking to Boris Johnson. He was clearly upset about spending cuts. Is this really about the economy?
It's the economy in a country that's extremely expensive. It's not just that, it's social exclusion, it's disenfranchised young people, it's racial issues, it's class issues. I mean, some of these things have really been going on for a long time. This isn't the first time people in London have rioted, and when they rioted 20 years ago, it was about the same stuff. You know, we've created this underclass, basically like a lawless generation that are disenfranchised. They don't have anything to lose, clearly. And people now are still talking about them in derogatory terms, and they're those people who are over there doing their criminal acts, rather than addressing that this is what the society has created and it's up to us to do something about it. They have to be responsible too, but definitely we've created haves and have-nots, and the have-nots are now having something to say about that.
Now, there are cases, you know, and I've seen this in all of the videos that have been posted on the internet. An interview with one lad up in Manchester late last night, and he was saying, I'm just here to create trouble. I want to create trouble for the police.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you do when you don't have anything better to do. You know, if I was a young person and I had nothing else to do, probably I might be doing that same thing. People don't just act out for no reason. They have reasons. They might not be able to articulate them, and they also might not sound particularly intelligent, but they have a reason why they feel that this is an appropriate course of action, even if it is just to cause trouble. And I think that it's important for people to listen to that and to work out what's really going on, because if we don't, we will see more of this in the future. I'm quite sure of it.
So what do you do about it exactly? What is the solution? When you see shocking footage of a young guy who seemingly is being helped up from the floor and then he's mugged in front of everyone, and it's all on camera for everyone to see. You know, I'm a Brit, I live abroad, and I feel terribly saddened when I see something like that, but I ask the question, what do you do about it?
It's a good question. I think it really speaks to the fabric of society in terms of not just London but in England. It's time to, one, stop relating to these people as if they are second-class citizens, lower-class people, scum, chavs, and all the other terms that we call them, and start trying to include them somehow. One, I do think there's an element of there's a dependency culture in the UK, the welfare state and all of that stuff. I think it's created an entitlement amongst people who feel like they are owed something. And I think it's important to start also teaching self-reliance and personal responsibility, which I think is a missing conversation. And obviously it's not being taught in the home. So it's all aspects. It's education, it's from the top down, it's actually interacting with young people and finding out what they're dealing with and what's going on with them. And I think just the society coming together as a whole to create a kind of 360-degree, you know, way to tackle the issue. That's the only way that I can see anything can be solved.
Lola, just finally then, a 360-degree way of tackling it, but whose responsibility is that exactly? You know, Dan Rivers, our correspondent who's been in London, telling me that one mother he saw was literally dragging her teenager away. Is the onus on parents?
It's on everyone. We live in a society, so we all have a responsibility. The onus is on parents, definitely, on family. It's on schools to make sure that kids are being well educated in schools. The state school system in London is shocking, to be quite honest with you. It's on the government to make sure that they are doing what they need to do politically as well. It's on all of, there are many different stakeholders when it comes to our youth and when it comes to the future of a country. And all of those stakeholders need to make sure that they're participating fully. And I think we also need to stop feeling that it's okay to relate to people in our society in the way that we do. There's a lot of very derogatory ways that English people look down on some aspects of the society, and it's considered acceptable. And this is what you create out of that. If you consider someone to be scum and you call them that, most likely they might act that way. So I think all the stakeholders have a role to play in getting this together, including the people themselves who are doing this stuff.
Well, it's all about one word, really, at the end of the day, isn't it? Community, and let's see more of that community action. Lola, thank you so much. Lola Adeshoye in New York, thanks for joining us.